Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, or hugely hungover human today, so I'm just going to try and do my best with this one. So I appreciate your understanding if I sound a little off today, but regardless, today I'm covering what I find to be the best weapon for me in Battlefield 5. It's a gun that I actually covered a few days back, because it's the newest weapon added to BF5. The M42, and I explained why I really liked it and highly recommend people use it. But since then, it's developed into my go-to weapon. I'm having even more success with it and I'm loving every second. So I've decided to come back to it and explain why I personally prefer it over the other semi-auto rifles for the assault class. As a lot of comments I got on the previous video were essentially asking how it compares to other options and why I would pick it over them. I'll be doing that over the backdrop of a game where I dropped 102 kills and 24 deaths, which is pretty solid, although not the best of course. It's not a crazy score and it's more deaths than I would have liked, but it's good considering that I spent a large portion of the match running around with the Piat for footage for my last video, which considering the the reception to that from some people, we're not going to talk about right now. But also, if a couple of clips cross over from that video, then I apologize if you've already seen them, but it made sense to show them as part of this game. Anyway, this match is also relevant because it was the one where I said out loud to myself, it's the best. And I had a crystallizing moment of realization that this is my new favorite weapon. Of course, this doesn't mean it'll be the best for everyone. Each person will have their own preference and skill set. But some more of you may be turned on to using this weapon after this video and be really glad that I talked about it. So let me know in the comments which weapon is your favorite in BF5 right now and why. And now let's do this. First off, before we talk about the AG in comparison with other weapons, I want to say that part of the reason I really like it is definitely the aesthetic of it. This white tiger skin that you get for reaching rank 19 in the Overture chapter ranks just looks awesome to me. Having a connection with your weapon can be really important, and I just love how this gun looks as well as sounds. But to the comparisons. Let's start with why I personally prefer the AG over the Gewehr 43, and what a great place to start as the Gewehr seems to be an extremely popular option. It's clearly a very effective weapon and is a nice middle ground between something like the M1A1 and the Selbstlader 1916 at two opposite ends of the spectrum. It's a weapon that I've previously featured in a video in which I picked up 115 kills and 18 deaths, and yet there's something that really disappoints me about the weapon and it pushes it right down my list of preferred options. And that's that the Gewehr can't have the detachable magazine and light and stock specializations equipped at the same time. The main downside of the Gewehr is how often you have to reload and therefore how much time you spend in the reload animation. Detachable magazine speeds that process up, but I really like to strafe. I'm a very mobile player and I often line my shots up with my feet as well as move whilst in a gunfight, so I'm a harder target to hit. Light and stock is key for me as it speeds up your movement speed by 60% while in ADS. So it's a real pain you can't pair those two things together on the Gewehr. But the AG42 can. It can use both of those specializations together and it's a dream for me, so that instantly puts it ahead of the Gewehr 43 for how I like to play. Plus I enjoy the rate of fire of the AG, which is 150 rounds per minute faster than the Gewehr 43. The extra damage of the Gewehr is nice, but I prefer the AG overall, plus it can still two-shot headshot. Let's move on now to the M1A1. This was my previous favourite weapon before the AG became available. It's got the same rate of fire, standing at 450 rounds per minute, and I really enjoy its spammy nature, allowing for pretty extreme lethality at close to mid-range. It also has a far larger magazine than the AG, with 16 or 32 rounds per reload depending upon your specialization choices. The AG only has 10 or 10 plus a spare round, depending upon whether you use detachable magazine, which I do. So the M1A1 sounds like the far better weapon, and it is certainly more versatile and user-friendly. It can be utilised well by almost anybody with a good trigger finger. But I prefer the AG as it does more damage, meaning if you have good aim and reactions, it's a real skill cannon. Higher risk, but also higher reward. It always kills in 4 body shots, whereas the M1A1 requires 5 at further ranges. And it kills in 2 headshots, whereas the M1A1 requires 3. So for me, the AG is just more lethal and feels more rewarding due to the higher demand upon your accuracy, plus the greater rewards for excelling at that. A 2-shot headshot at 450 rounds per minute is hard for me to ignore. So overall, the AG is essentially just as lethal as the M1A1 up close and far superior at range. Now let's talk about the Turner SMLE, a weapon that doesn't seem to be all that popular, but those who do use it absolutely swear by it. It's a very powerful option, and being able to choose between the extended magazine and detachable magazines is pretty awesome. But I just quite simply prefer the rate of fire of the AG, and again it has a faster 2-shot headshot than the Turner. I do totally understand why some people like the Turner though, as it does hit hard and at a decent rate of fire. I'll be sure to give it more of a chance sometime soon, but it's certainly not close to the AG for how I like to play. Now we have the Selbstlader 1916, a weapon I also highly recommend and was using a lot before the AG. I made a video on this weapon where I urged people to try it, and I still stand by that. It's very powerful, has 26 available rounds, and can even increase its rate of fire to 257 rounds per minute if you prefer that. And a bipod is available as a specialization as well. But the AG beats it for me due to the much faster fire rate for better close quarters viability, and once again, a faster 2-shot headshot. I know the Selbstlader can be great for hitting the body and then the head, or vice versa, much like the Turner SMLE, but I just prefer the lightning fast 2-shot headshot of the AG overall. I can't stress enough just how useful it is, and it's probably the main reason I use the AG over all of the other semi-autos. And finally we come to the Gewehr 1-5, a great option if you want a large magazine of 31 rounds, coupled with a solid rate of fire of 360 rounds per minute. But as you now know, I'm happy to trade ammo for higher output when it comes to rate of fire a lot of the time, as well as what I keep mentioning, the 2-shot headshot kill at 450 rounds per minute. It just really fits for me. The Gewehr 1-5 is a great all-rounder, being pretty solid at everything and having that large magazine. But the more specialized AG remains my go-to option. And so now you know why the AG M42 is the best gun in BF5 for me. I'm an avid semi-auto rifle user, and this one currently sits top of the tree for how it allows me to play. This of course may change over time, but for now, I just can't put this gun down. I love it, and maybe some more of you will now end up loving it too. But if it doesn't fit you, as I said earlier, let me know which weapon is your current go-to in Battlefield 5 and why in the comments below. I'll let the rest of the footage play out now with background music, as some of you really enjoy it. If you want to stay for that, then awesome. If not, then that's totally cool. Thanks for spending a few minutes here with me today. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join my Discord server in the description and my pinned comment. I'll also show the board of awesome at the end of the video for the absolute heroes who support the channel on Patreon. A special thanks to 2 new patrons, Sly Shadow Sniper and Guts of Mutts. You guys rule. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.
Have this grenade! Destroy the objective now!